people that did bad things 30 years ago are now finding justice.
An effort to find survivors of sex assaults from more than 4 decades ago. Baltimore County Police are working to process evidence collected from victims who sought care at GBMC over a 20-year span starting in 1977.
Yeah, 11 News anchor Deborah Winter joins us now. And Deb, you know, these cases all have one man in common.
Yeah, an extraordinary man, a real visionary. His name is Dr. Rudiger Breitnecker. On top of being an ER doctor at the time, he was a forensic pathologist who used his training to preserve evidence. And even though he is gone now, his belief in justice lives on in survivors today.
Nestled in a northern Baltimore community off Western Run Road, a son visits his childhood home.
He went against the grain.
And reflects on a giant of a man, his father.
He was a kind human being. He was somebody who looked out for other people.
Rudy Breitnecker is talking about his namesake, Austrian-born Dr. Rudiger Breitnecker, a pioneer who in some respects paved a new path for justice for sex assault survivors in Maryland.
The way he put it was you try your best to get to the truth.
Rudy Breitnecker describes his father as a humble man who survived horrors of war as a child in Austria.
During the war, they witnessed rape, and I think they witnessed really, I think, in the family.
Those experiences are part of the motivation that led Breitnecker to advocate for sex assault survivors. As a doctor, his work starting in the 1970s is seen as revolutionary.
So back in the 70s and 80s, DNA wasn't even a thing.
Laura Clary runs the Sexual Assault Forensic Examination, or SAFE program at GBMC.
So this is our first examination room.
She gave 11 News Investigates an exclusive look at the work they do now to help survivors heal and determine next steps. The program was inspired by Dr. Breitnecker after he started collecting evidence that could one day be tested for DNA.
He didn't know what was going to be able to happen in the future, but the fact that he said, these patients are coming forward, I feel like I need to do something to maintain, this evidence that I'm collecting. Maybe it'll be useful in the future.
Starting in the 70s, Dr. Breitnecker saw hundreds of victims of sex assault and rape in the emergency department at GBMC, using his forensic training to perform exams and preserve evidence on microscope slides.
These are inherently older cases, often cold cases.
As technology advanced, the evidence on some of those slides was used in dozens of cases to secure convictions. Most recently, the arrest of a suspected serial rapist, James Shipe. He's accused of targeting 5 women in Cockeysville between 1978 and 1986, all within a mile of each other. In another series of rape cases, Alfonso Hill was convicted in 7 sex assault cases, all connected to evidence from the Breitnecker slides. The mission is still in motion as police and prosecutors work to find justice for survivors. As police look to investigate these cold cases, Rudy Breitnecker looks back at his father's legacy. A regular guy, he says, who cared deeply about others.
Someone who, with humility in his professional life, and then has an impact posthumously, it's unbelievable. My dad's my hero.
Yeah, and many of the slides are just being analyzed for DNA thanks to new state funding and a grant as well.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is to have that foresight.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Incredible. Deb, thank you.
Sure, and also, right now, one of the things that officials want to know, particularly at GBMC, is how involved survivors want to be in the process moving forward, since they are examining these slides. So they say some want to be very involved, while others just don't want to revisit the trauma, which you can understand. Survivors who were treated at GBMC between 1977 and 1997, they're asked to reach out to the Maryland Coalition Against Sexual Assault. That number on your screen right now, 833-364-0046. Again, 833-364-0046.